Want to do a quick vlog. It's been a minute because I've been in the process of switching camera systems. I know that gear shouldn't be the focus of the whole creative process, but sometimes you just you don't get excited to pick up your camera, and gear shouldn't get in the way of you wanting to do what you want to do. Like right now, I'm recording on my phone, and to get better quality, I'm using the cameras that are on the back of the phone. So I have no idea how I'm framed right now. And I mean, that was common too with my camera. I didn't have a flip out screen, so I couldn't see how I framed myself or anything. I just kind of had to guess or use the phone app and kind of see if my framing was okay. So, sold off all my Nikon gear, um, and I didn't actually take too big of a hit, so I'm happy about that. But here's where the story that I wanted to kind of touch on starts. I had some massive eBay fails, and they're not all eBay's fault. They're not all my fault. I just want to kind of tell you the story. So, wanted to buy the Canon EOS R. Ooh, sorry, I just kind of kicked the table. Wanted to buy the Canon EOS R. It has the flip out screen so I can, shoot myself. Also, something that I don't see mentioned a whole lot is the ability to have the EOS R on a gimbal, have the screen on the side, and when you get low, you can kind of tilt it up, and just it's a lot better for awkward viewing angles. I don't want to have to get a Ninja external recorder right now. Maybe someday, but I mean that's a whole other extra weight and lots of extra stuff. So, and add on to that, I'm excited about how Canon is really kind of pushing innovation with their mirrorless lenses. They're bringing, they're making the lenses like f2, f1.2 to focal ranges that are useful, or the 70-200 is a lot smaller and lighter, and that's a lens that I absolutely love and use all the time. But I hate bringing this massive thing that's like, this long, because it takes up like 3 slots in my camera Pelican, or it takes up a whole row on my camera bag, and it's heavy. But the RF 70-200 doesn't. It's a lot lighter. It's compact when it's zoomed in. So I mean, it's expensive. It's more expensive than the camera and the lens kit that I'm getting. So I got to save my pennies for that one. But it's one of those things where I think Canon is pushing innovation, and it seems like they're really excited and investing in their mirrorless line as the future. Their autofocus system has always been good. I mean, not, everyone's going to scream, oh, but Sony's better. But Canon has always had good video autofocus system, especially for DSLRs. So I think it's going to do what I need it to do. Add on to that Canon uses SD cards, which you can find a million ways to plug those into anything from my laptop, which I still have one of the older MacBook Pros that actually has a built-in card reader, which is why I bought it. But, you can get them so you can plug the SD cards into your phones and iPads and transfer stuff that way if you're trying to live the ultra mobile lifestyle, or if you're, working with a friend. You don't need to have this very proprietary XQD card slot. And, I think I think Nikon's going to walk away from XQDs. They're going to move into that CF Express, which might become more adopted across the industry, and it might be a very prolific media. I mean, I'll say I love the XQDs. I never outran my buffer because of the write speeds were so fast. They seemed very tough. So, I mean, it's a good media, but it was hard to work with. So, there's trade-offs. So I'm excited to move to the EOS R. Here's where I had a problem. I knew I was going to sell all my Nikon stuff off and get the EOS R 24-105 f4 kit. So I was like, man, I really want to get the most bang from a buck. I'm going to hop on eBay. So I was on eBay, cruising, looking at this one auction. It was an okay price. Scroll down, thinking I'm getting to a section where it said, more auctions like this. And it was like $500-$600 cheaper. I mean, it's still like $1,700. But I was like, oh man, great. Clicked on it, scrolled through the pictures. It looked good. Checked the seller. Great reviews on the seller. I said, only one left. So, there's that panic buying. Like, oh man, I better jump on this. Clicked buy it now, paid for it. Whew, got it. I was all excited, tracking it and everything like that. And it was going to get here super fast too. Free shipping. Woo! I lucked out. Everything's coming up roses, right? Pop the box open. It's the EOS RP, which is the less expensive. Doesn't quite have as many features, not as many megapixels. It's kind of the entry level mirrorless, if you want to say that. I'm sure there's people that'll dive deeper into the specs, but it was missing features that I wanted, like the multifunction touch bar. I don't think it's as fast of a shutter speed, or it was just missing some features. I didn't want to be, every time I picked it up, I didn't want to be like, oh man, this isn't what I wanted. So started the return process. Thankfully, this the seller had worry-free 14-day return policy. Turns out they are in Hong Kong, though. So I have to pay to ship it back. And how addresses are done in Hong Kong and in other parts of the world, they're different than how the US does it. So I wasn't really confident on how to do it. So I kind of best guessed it. Sent it on its merry way. It gets stuck in Louisville, Kentucky, at one of UPS's distribution hubs, and says it's missing a export document. Like, shoot, okay, well, typed one out. They sent me a template, typed it out, filled it out, attached it, emailed it. Gets a little bit further. Now it's missing a customer invoice. Well, I mean, I'm not a business, so I don't know what I'm doing. But they sent me a template, filled it out, sent it to the person. And UPS customer service, for their credit, they did a great job. They reached out to me. I talked to a human pretty quickly. They helped me out. Gets to Kowloon Bay, China, which is, I don't know, I'm horrible at geography. I can navigate around areas that I'm familiar with, but I am not good at geography. So it gets overseas. It gets very close to the destination. That's saying it's undeliverable as addressed. So I call up UPS. I'm like, hey, I copy and paste what the seller sent me into Google, and it pops right up. I was like, can you just do that? They're like, no, and they start saying all this different stuff, like, we don't know which Hong Kong it is. There's 3 different entries for Hong Kong in our system. And so they tell me to get in contact with the seller, and I go through a couple different channels to try to do that. Finally get a hold of the seller. They contact UPS. Finally gets there. Like, this is like working every day with UPS for like a solid week to get this there. Finally arrived there this morning. And then the seller gave me a refund. Great seller to work with. Infinity, I think, is the name of the seller. So, I mean, I would not hesitate to buy from that seller again. The camera was in great shape. It was, I think, new in box. So, I mean, it was just I was, that instance, it was my bad. I didn't read the auction all the way through. I was like, I just got excited. So I was like, man, I got some shoots coming up. I got some videos I need to make coming up. So I purchased another one from a different eBay seller. Made sure it was the right camera this time. Oh yes. And this one's from continental US. So I purchased it, got here. I plugged everything in, got lens on, turn on the camera, error 60. So I Google it. It's a camera to lens communication error. Crap. So I try different things. I pull it off, put it back on, so pull the battery out, try different memory cards, do everything I can. Still getting error 60. So I take it to one of my local camera shops. I was like, hey, I'm trying to troubleshoot this. They really helped me out. So I took their lens, put it on my body, put my lens on their body. They got the error. My camera was fine. So I was like, oh, well, so it's definitely the lens. Contact that seller. He's like, well, he was great to work with too. He's like, well, I'll pay, we can, give me your camera store's information and we'll cover the expense to have it repaired at your camera store. So I called the camera store. I was like, hey, they're willing to work with you, pay for the lens to be repaired. And you're like, well, we really don't do that. We always mail our stuff out to Canon. So going back and forth with the seller, he's like, you know what? I'll just refund you and I'll take care of it. So I just boxed it up and started a refund, started a return on eBay. So I mailed that out today. So now here I am, no camera. I mean, I've had successful sales on eBay, but my purchasing has just sucked. So I haven't had like a camera that I can take pictures with when I'm feeling inspired or take movies. Or next week I've made commitments that I will take videos for work. So I just hopped on Canon USA and purchased the kit from Canon. So there's no reason why I should have any problems with the set coming from Canon. And if I do, it's my understanding I can take it into a Canon authorized dealer and say, this isn't working. I bought it yesterday. And they'll just swap it out and then they'll take care of the replacement process with Canon, is my understanding of it. I may be wrong. I haven't had to do that yet, but we shall see. So that's been my frustrating trial with eBay. And I tell you what, I mean, I know you can save a lot of money, and lenses and everything like that. Usually there's like no problem buying from people who are looking to upgrade, or they've taken care of their equipment and they don't need it anymore. Usually there's no problem. I mean, heck, I just sold a whole Nikon Z6 and that lens and a 70-200 and a whole bunch of other stuff. And I take care of my stuff and they're not going to have any problems. But man, I just did not have good luck as a buyer on eBay as of late. So I am very hesitant to go that route again. But the savings that it's there is really impressive. I mean, I'll probably lean more towards like Facebook groups, or I'm a little leery of Craigslist. There's a lot of scammers on Craigslist. But those more in-person transactions, I'd lean more towards that, because you can try it out, make sure that it functions before you hand over your cash. So to kind of circle around and wrap it up, I've had some really crap luck buying on eBay, but it's not all bad luck. Thankfully, I haven't had to fight with the sellers. I haven't had to open up, cases with eBay to get my money back. They've all been great sellers, you know, good people that I've just been super unlucky with. And that's kind of how my luck runs. I'll have like, a whole bunch of medium luck. Maybe I'll get like a windfall and things will go well for a while. Man, when I hit a bad luck turn, it stays down here for like 4, 5, 6 events. And then I'll come back up and everything will be okay again. So I'm hoping that my bad luck is coming to a close. Um, but hopefully, I'm hoping by early next week, um, I'll be shooting on the EOSR. Programming and getting used to that, getting used to the new controls, the new systems, the color grading, and all that. So that's what I'm hoping. So until then, I'm gonna vlog on my phone, which gives good video. I mean, you gotta look hard to find a way to make bad video nowadays. But here's hoping. See ya.